Hello plant lovers and welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the I'm back in my new home, and today I thought I would just talk about some of the things I've bought and share my experiences. Please remember, whatever I say about the things I've bought, and if I didn't like them, something didn't work for me, it's my personal opinion. Other people's experiences could be completely different and better than some of mine. Anyway, let's get the big item out of the way first, and we'll go over here. We'll switch the camera. Now here, sorry if it's a bit glary, are my Hoya shelves from IKEA. Now this one is the tall one, which I believe is it's like a coat rack, a hat rack, and a shoe rack at the bottom. And what I've done in this particular room, because the windows still go up above it, I kept it, but I've put big spaces in between. I like it because it's got 2 rods in the middle that you can hang plants from. And at the bottom, I've actually, also kept spaces for pots and things. Now, its brother next door is just a set of shelves. Now, a word of warning. If you put heavy pots or big pots, which normally would be heavy, at the top, make sure that you have something heavy on the bottom to counterbalance it, because it can get a little bit wobbly. These shelves, Hoya shelves from IKEA, are often sold as a pair, and I found them very easy to install. And the good thing about this tall one is it comes with these, where are they? Hooks. I think there's about 4, 5, 6 of them, which you can just more or less place anywhere, and you can hang plants from it. Okay, so I really like them. Just the warning, if you've got heavy plants at the top, make sure there's something heavy at the bottom to make a counterbalance. Back to me. Now, what I think I mentioned in my previous video, the last one, when I just moved, the end of the first week of my move more or less coincided with my birthday. So I bought myself a birthday present, which I showed you below, and that was my Monstera Thai constellation. So if I bought myself a birthday present, I had to buy myself some housewarming presents. So the first thing I bought was quite a few bags of lechuza pon. And they were the big bags, I think in litres. I think they hold 12 litres, which is a little bit more than a big bucket size. And I bought a few pots. Some medium-sized pots. I'll show you these ones. These are lechuza pots. Bought them myself. And what I like about these pots, the smaller ones, is they already come with a bag of lechuza pon. But I'll get a bit on them a little bit. I also bought some smaller pots very recently, due to some advice of some of my subscribers regarding Hoyas, especially Hoyas that are small and haven't grown up yet. And I also bought some large pots, 3 really big pots, which took the full 12-litre bag of soil. And I've potted my Thai constellation in that, my ficus, I think it's umbellata, and my Strelitzia nicolai. Now, what I want to say is you have to rinse the pon before you use it. Now, When it's in these smaller pots, it's very easy. You just pour the pon inside, take out the pot, and as you can see, the pot is actually smaller than the size of the cover pot. So don't think that the pot is the same size as the cover pot, because the mechanisms of the self-watering system does take up almost a third of the pot size. Now, with a pot like this, it's very easy. Put in the pon and go outside and use your hose, garden hose, if you can, if you've got a garden hose, and rinse it. You have to rinse it, because if you don't rinse it, because for the first 3 months, you have to water your plants from the top while the roots are acclimating to their new growing medium, and roots always search out where the water is. So they will grow down to the water reserve that's at the bottom of the pot. But please don't rinse out the pon under your kitchen sink or your laundry sink or whatever, because you will clog up the drains and it's going to cost you a pretty penny to have your drains cleaned. Because even after I've done the rinsing, after the first couple of waterings, when I take this out, at the bottom of the pot with in the water reservoir, I still have a bit of a sort of clayish sludge on the bottom. So I just tip that out in the garden. So just don't. And for the big pots, which I needed the whole bag, I did 2-liter portions of it. Got myself a bucket, got the hose, sat down on the lawn, and what I used was this sieve. I don't know what this is. Is it a fruit bowl? Is it a sieve? I think it can be everything, but it's just the perfect size. I put 2 half-liter cups of pon inside. I hold this over the bucket, and I hose it. And it usually takes me, in the hosing of the pon, to fill up the bucket completely until it's more or less coming out clear water at the bottom. And then I just tip that water out somewhere in the garden. I'm sure it's going to be good for the garden because it's got all sorts of little clay particles and, minerals and little pebbles and things like that. But this I found. A sieve, I have a sieve, yes, a normal, like a kitchen sieve. But to me, it's just too small. But this 2 half-liter scoops of pon, put it over the bucket, hose on the highest pressure, hose it out, and then tip the washed pon into the pot, into the lechuza pot. So this I found ideal. Don't, under any circumstances, don't rinse them under the sink. Now, what I also do, because it's like 2-3 months, we have to water from the top. With these smaller pots, you have to water from the top anyway, because there's no hole. But the little level keeps going up and up and up and up, and it hits the top. What do I do? Now, especially for my Hoyas that I've repotted into pon, I take the top pot, the pot out, and I re-pour very slowly the water. Of course, it's sitting over a bucket. No, that's not what I do. I tip this water into a small bucket, then I put the pot back in, and I water that same water very, very slowly all around the Hoya in all directions, slowly, because I want the water to catch the roots that are in the plant. Because this particular room is very, very warm when the sun is shining. And I want the roots to get the moisture. Well, Hoyas are epiphytic plants, so they're used to drown downpours of heavy rain and maybe, a couple of days of hot tropical sun, and they will dry out. But the biggest risk you have if the roots dry out and you water it again is that the roots will rot. So what I do here is it's 1 day of watering, the next day no watering, the third day, that's it. Re-water with the water that's in there. Very easy with these pots. Very easy with the there's an even smaller pot. Because thank you, subscribers, telling me that I should put some of my Hoyas in smaller pots. It also comes with a little packet of pon, just for that particular. And once again, remember, look, the pot is much smaller than the water reservoir. So don't be fooled thinking that that is the size of the pot. It's not. The pot is much smaller. Very easy. Now, it is not always that easy. Once this little pot is full of pon, it's not that easy to take it out because, there's nowhere to stick your thumb in to grab the side. And so you sort of have to play with your fingernails around the edge and to pull it out. Not a problem. There is a problem, however, when we talk about the bigger pots. Now, I did buy these. These are actually hanging pots, and I think I mentioned in the other previous video that I do have my Hoya, the one that grows wildly. I'll remember it. Imperialis Red. It's supposed to be a hanging pot. It weighs a ton. Okay, it's got a place where to water it. So I can stick one finger in there and sort of grab it out by the corner, and then I sort of have to run my nails under the edge to take it out. Because this is different. The construction is different. The water goes into the reservoir. Okay, if you want to flush it, or get rid of the reservoir. Yes, there is a plug at the bottom that you can undo it. But all these big pots, the big square ones that I have downstairs, this one and the round hanging pots, they have this, see this? It's like 2 centimeters at the bottom. So it's only the water that's above this little pipe that drains away. The water that's still there doesn't drain away unless you take out this, and then you would just tip it out, okay? But the big square pots that I have, there's one of these plugs. You take out the inner pot, and there's actually a plug on the bottom that you unscrew to drain out the water. But exactly the same thing is it's got one of those little pipes inside. So you don't drain out all of the water that's, could be up to there, and it might only empty up to there. So it's a little bit difficult. So just be aware of that, because those big pots, when they are full of pon and water in the reservoir, they are heavy. This particular pot full of pon, yes, it's heavy to lift. The big square ones are even heavier, but they have little handles that recess into the pot. You just pick them up and take them outside. But difficult when you want to empty all of the water in the pot. Bit messy. I did find that the square pots, if I turned it on a slight angle, more water would drip out quicker, but never empty out all of it. And what I wanted to do was to empty out all of the water that's in those big square pots, Lechuza pots, so that I can water thoroughly again, slowly from the top, because all those 3 plants that are in those square pots, they do have big root systems. And hopefully the way I planted it is they're near the bottom, so they should find their way to the water reservoir fairly quickly. They're not wilting or anything, so hopefully that'll be okay. Now, so housewarming gifts for myself. Lechuza pon, lechuza pots, and I did buy one other thing for myself, and I fell in love with it when I saw it. It's this Mother Forest plant stand. No, it's this metal pole that goes from the floor to your ceiling, and then these pots fit in the sides, and from the top one down, the bottom of the pots have got lights, so grow lights, so that you can illuminate the plants that are on the next level down, and you can arrange them any way you like, because there's like 3 or 4 grooves, and you can stagger them the way you like them. I really loved that idea. I bought it, and it's not cheap. It's not cheap. It's over 500 euros, under 1,000. And I just didn't have any success in putting it together. It just didn't work for me. Putting together something you buy from IKEA is child's play compared to the Mother Forest. Wonderful, wonderful concept for that particular thing. But the metal poles have to be joined together with 4 screws. I think I had to join 3 together for mine to reach the ceiling. Apart from one, in all the others, I could only get 2 screws in, because 2 of the screws screw up and 2 of the screws screw down, so that it's nice and solid. In one of them, I managed to get 3 screws to screw in, but all the other joints were only put together, kept together with 2 screws at each joint. And no matter how I tried, they just wouldn't screw in. Tried, micro adjusting, because maybe, the thread doesn't quite meet the hole and all the rest of it. Anyway, just didn't work. But I did manage to assemble it, and I did manage to get it standing and flush against the ceiling, and it was quite solid. Wasn't wobbly or anything like that. But who knows? When the pots are hanging and you've got the added weight of the plant and the soil and everything, it might have collapsed. And then my next problem started, to attach the pot holders to the poles. This basically has a groove, and the pot has this sort of I don't know what it's called, but a plastic bit that you stick in the groove, and then you twist the screw, and it should turn and lock into that groove. And there were 8 of these pot holders that have to be assembled. The very first one that I tried worked perfectly. None of the 7 other pots worked. Don't ask me why. I have no idea what went wrong. No idea. I tried and I tried and I tried. And I gave up after 2 days. I'm sorry, but, for something that costs so much money, it shouldn't be so difficult to put together. I did hear that Mother is considering later this year to do some pre-assembly on their forest plant stands. So might have to wait until then and see what they look like. But I did return it after some difficulty, because they sent me the wrong labels, and the courier company wouldn't accept them because I was not the official sender. The official sender was Mother, and eventually got that sorted out, and got the right labels, and it went back. And it's been back for over a month now, and I'm still waiting for my refund. They made a slight deduction from what I paid to cover some minor scratches and things on the poles, the odd little bit of packing plastic that wasn't there. Well, look, I'm really, really sorry, but when you unpack something completely from the box and you try to put it back in the box it came in, it doesn't always fit. And when you're scratching around metal poles with the screws that won't screw in and etc., yes, there's going to be some scratches, but that's their policy, Well, I understand, but I would like to get my refund back. So, and I did see Sydney Plant Guy received one of these forest plant stands as a gift to try it out and make a review, honest opinion review of what he thought of it. Well, he didn't have that much success in the beginning of assembling everything as well, but he persevered. Well, I'm sorry, but if I can't connect poles and put in the screws and attach the thing in 2 days' time, I'm not going to waste any more time. Anyway, so that's my honest opinion. That's why I sent it back for a refund. But my opinion. It didn't work for me. Might work for you. I don't know. Could work for you. Now, don't laugh. I really like potting mats because, especially when you're dealing with moss poles, but if I'm repotting and I'm using a repotting mat, I still make a mess. So I saw in the boot or the trunk of my cousin's daughter's car what IKEA sells as a laundry basket. This is it. Look, it's huge. It's a laundry basket. And it's very, very, very flexible. And to me, this is perfect. I put my pots in there. Soil can go left and right. It doesn't matter, but it's all contained. And, it's very, very lightweight. And I think it was in 2 colors, blue and grey, but I like the grey one better. I use this for my repottings now. Just love it. Love it. Because I make a bit of a mess. And it's all contained in here. And it's plastic. And it's light. And as I said, it's flexible. Love that too. Bought it. Couldn't stay away. Now, thank you people for your suggestions. You may notice we're on to Hoyas now. I have this tiny, tiny, tiny thing which is called Micro Dwarf. I did repot it into a smaller pot of pon, and it has new leaf here and a new growth point growing there, and it seems to be doing very nicely in this particular situation. So yes, and another small Hoya that I transferred to a smaller pot. Thanks for your suggestions. And wouldn't you know it, put it in a smaller pot and boom, it put out a new leaf. And there's a new leaf about to come out there, and the growth point has been activated. So yes, so I still have 2 more. 2 more of those little pots. Now, what else? Hoya linearis. Took some more cuttings. It's been in there for just a very short time, and you can see the roots are already starting. I just have so much success in propagating Hoya linearis. A little bit less success in growing them, but my cuttings are doing well that I've potted up recently. So why not? Always have an insurance policy behind me, just in case the mother plant goes south. Now, I know, it's not everybody's favourite Hoya carrier. I've repotted it. This, you might remember, I got this last year as a local cutting. And it sat there for months and months. And now it's just gone crazy putting out leaves. It has 2 more new leaves coming out somewhere down here in the bottom, I can see. It has a new leaf coming out there. and there's something coming out here. Well, where's the growth stem? Where's the growth point? Still thinking about it, but it's sort of forming a nice little clumpy plant without this really, really thick stem that it forms. Anyway, I do like you, but I would like a growth stem so it could grow up. Now, from my prop box, what we're on. This was something I think I've already shown you. This is my Hoya EPC 1015, which is a Clambii crossed with a Vitellina. Well, I had to put some paper clips in there to keep it down because I wanted to jump out, and it's in this fluval stratum. And yes. Oh, yes, look. Roots started there, and there's roots coming down here. Good thing about the stratum is you can actually see it. Nothing happening yet on the way of growth points or leaves, but it's establishing its root system, and I really like these leaves. One thing else I have, it's something new I got. My Hoya multiflora. New peduncle is flowering, and there's another new peduncle coming out, so nothing new now. And I bought another multiflora. This is the Hoya multiflora SV406. It's a 3-leaf cutting. You can't see it in there, or maybe you can. One just there, that little green spot there. It's a peduncle. But I can see it's pushing out a growth point. And the interesting thing, I thought that the leaves would be pale green, but it seems to have a little bit of splash. It's got a little bit of splash to it. I thought the leaves would be sort of darker green than the other multiflora, but no. And this is the one where the shooting star tails are a nice orange color, because the one I have now, sorry, it's a pale yellow. And pièce de la resistance. Couldn't resist. Look at this. Oh, God. Look at this. This is a new leaf it's put out in the week that I've had it. I actually got this as a rooted cutting, but I transferred it into pon, and it's sort of like, put some little holes in the bottom and put it in there. So I did get one little leaf, a new leaf, and I can see that from the top, the roots are growing down, and you know what this is. If you haven't guessed yet, this is a Hoya Silver Dollar. MB1405, and it's clone A, according to the label. Love it. There is an AG. It just sort of does say MB1405-AG clone A, but according to Miro on Basic Plants, the AG shouldn't be there, because the person that created this clone, it's not what he calls it. He calls it MB after his initials, 1405 clone A. So I'm really hopeful that my little silver dollar is going to grow nicely. Something else from my prop box. Something that's been in the prop box for at least 6 months. It's from my Pothos Marble Queen. It did something unusual. One of its growth points sprouted out white. So I cut that off and I put it in my prop box. And here it is. It's been there for 6 months. It's got a huge root system in there, and it's more or less white leaves with green splash. Well, it's in the prop box. It's got a grow light right above it. It is a very, very, very slow growing plant, and I really don't have that much faith in this for the future because, hasn't got enough green to sustain itself. It's not enough chlorophyll. Where's it going to get its energy from? So it's still in my prop box as an oddity. But, I do like it. I do like it, but I don't think there's much of a future for it. But you never know. You never know with plants. Maybe if I took it out of the prop box and repotted it into a slightly bigger pot because it's got lots and lots of roots, it might revert back to the green colour that the marble queen should be with its splotches of colour. Anyway, an oddity from the prop box. Now, I just couldn't. Yes, by the way, today is the Monday, 2nd of October. And guess what? Autumn, or the fall, autumn officially started. Well, it didn't officially start. According to the weather, it started yesterday. Because from yesterday, the temperature, daily maximum temperature has dropped about 10 degrees. So the beginning of our autumn is about a month late. And we also had some rain, which we haven't had for a while. So, the sun is not as strong and it's getting a little bit lower on the horizon. So I think my plants will do all right. But yesterday I went to a hardware store to pick up some supplies. And wouldn't you know it, I walked past the plant section. Oh, big mistake. Well, not a big mistake, because I bought something that I've never ever seen before. Looky here. Look at this Hoya. Wait a minute. Which is your nice side? That side. Look at that. Look at that. Any guesses what this Hoya is? No? No? Came with the hoop. And there's actually, 2 vines wrapped around this. Beautiful. 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 It's a Hoya australis. Outer variegated. Look, it's just lovely. That one doesn't look very outer variegated, but it is because the green is in the middle. But it's a Hoya australis. I was shocked. And it's called Hoya australis blondie. I think it's still got has it got its passport here? Yeah, Hoya blondie, it says here. Did some research, and it's a Hoya australis. Love it. Love it. Hoya australis blondie. Love it. Beautiful. Beautiful. Not expensive. Let me just check. Expensive or not? Does it still have the price on it? Yeah. €17.99. €17.99. Not expensive. What other plant? Told you. Couldn't walk past. Where are you? Where are you? Here we are. Here we are. But very easy to hang things up. Look at this. Look, I love. Just take you out of there for the time being. Look at this lovely plant. €5.99. €5.99. Now, my dear friends, what on earth is this? Well, it does have a label. It says Hoya carnosa albo marginata. Okay. Is a Hoya albo marginata the same as a crimson queen? Crimson queen looks like that, with the variegation on the outside. Or is the albo marginata, carnosa albo marginata, a completely different species from the crimson queen? Don't know. If you know, let me know in the comments. Is this the same as a crimson queen? I don't know. Don't know. Interesting. Well, it's checking for new leaves, but there's no pinky stems. There's no pinky leaves, so maybe it is a completely different species of Hoya carnosa. Anyway, Albo marginata. Is it or is it not the same as the Crimson Queen? Let me know if you know. And one more rescue plant I got yesterday as well. Couldn't resist. Where are you? Here you are. Here you are. Well, I just had to get this particular one. But this one I won't know what it is. You know why I bought it? Because it had that. Minus 40%. Couldn't resist it. Not really sure what it is, because it's on the pot it says Hoya mix. Well, there's hundreds and hundreds of Hoyas that Hoya mix could mean. I just hate those labels. And I think we as consumers are not getting our money's worth, even though we got 40% off. But, you know, we're buying something and it's like, in Lithuanian it says like it's buying like a cat in a bag. You don't see the cat and you just buy the bag. And then you either like the cat or you don't like the cat. Don't know what it is. It looks a little bit like a pubicalyx. It's got the same sort of like leaf shape. It's got the splashiness, but the leaves are much, much smaller. Not as long as a pubicalyx, but at least the one that I have. But that just could be because this is a young plant. So what do? We wait. We wait to see how it grows, whether it likes to climb or whether it likes to trail, and see if the leaves get bigger or not, and hopefully wait for it to flower to see what it is. So, yeah, 40% off. I can't go past that. But, you know, Hoya mix is the plant label that I hate the most. Hoya mix. What the hell is it? It's a mix of nothing. It's just a Hoya. But I want to know what it is. And I think I have the right as a consumer to know what I'm buying and not a pig in the poke. Anyway, the other day, and I'll finish up on this, stop ranting. I was watching Houseplanty Goodness, Memo's channel, and he had some interesting plants, you know, that sort of, not really oddball plants, but oddity plants, which he thought, you know, people might like to give a try. And he mentioned 3 plants. There was a philodendron of some sort, can't remember what the other one was, and there was an anthurium. Now, I'm beginning to like anthuriums better than I like alocasias. Okay, the variety of Hoyas is on a completely different level. But he showed this Hoya anthurium arrow. I just love it. I loved it when I saw it straight away. It has like cup-shaped leaves, of course arrow because the leaves look like arrows, but they point up and they form a cup. And the interesting thing is, and you won't see it, but this part of the petiole has a ridge that goes down. Why? So that when it rains, the water collects in this cup and it follows the ridge, drips down to where the roots are. It has a new leaf coming out, and from Memo's video clip, the leaves will be much bigger and the petioles will be much longer. It did have 2 inflorescences on it, but I chopped them off. I want all the energy to go into the leaves. And the other thing about this particular anthurium is it gets a massive root formations, thick, juicy roots, also on the very top of the soil that's in the pot. So this is, and it likes to be in a big pot because its roots are massive compared to some of the other anthuriums that I have. So I will be transferring this into pon and into this pot. because it likes to be in a big pot. It does not like direct sun. It likes dappled light. Well, dappled light is a bit of sun here and a bit of sun there and a bit of shade here and a bit of shade there. But anyway, I just couldn't resist this plant. And as I said, I'm beginning to like anthuriums better than alocasias. Very healthy. I bought it locally from an online plant shop, which is 100 kilometers from me, in a city 100 kilometers from me, and I think I ordered it last Thursday or could be Friday. It arrived today. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love this plant. Just love it. So I'm going to just keep it in its original pot for about a week or so for it to acclimate to its new position, and then I will transfer it to pond. And so it'll have a nice big pot, moisture that it can reach, and plenty of room for all of its roots to spread out into. I can't remember what the other two plants were that memo showed, that out of a series of plants that were unusual and a little bit different. As I said, another one was a philodendron, and what the third one was, I don't know. But I ordered them both as well. So when they arrive, I'll show them to you. Anyway, that's about it. Anything else to tell you about my plants? No. Everything is growing. And, we'll see what happens now with this position I have on the third floor facing a south window, because it's getting a lot of bright light now, and the sun is not as intense as it was in the first week of August when I moved here, and not as hot. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I hope you learned something new, learned something interesting. And until next time, ciao.